welcome to Caterpillar Cross Stitch. I'm Kristen, and today I'm going to be describing different types of cross-stitching frames and stands that all help to make your cross-stitching more fun, easy, and comfortable. Please make sure to give this channel a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so that you never miss out on great cross-stitch related content. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about today is the classic embroidery hoop. I'm sure if you've been cross-stitching for any length of time, you've seen this before, but if you haven't, this is a great way to get started with cross-stitching. These frames are typically very inexpensive. They can be found at any cross-stitch store. They can be found at any craft store. You can buy them online, and they come in a variety of diameters and thicknesses to help with whatever project size that you're working on. So it's a pretty easy concept when it comes to using a hoop like this. There's going to be a back piece and also a top piece, either made of wood or plastic. You can find either one. And you're going to simply snap it around your fabric. So you can see here's the back, here's the front. And then this mechanism is going to help tighten the hoop to make it more taut. So the beautiful thing about cross-stitching using a hoop or using a QSnap, which I'll show you next, is that it helps to hold the fabric nice and tight so that those cross-stitch holes either in your linen or even weave or in your Aida, it's going to be very visible. So this is a preferred method of stitching for me, is using something to hold that fabric nice and tight. But some people choose to stitch in hand, which is also a great technique. It really just depends on what works best for you. So the next thing I wanted to show you is the QSnap. So QSnaps, when I first started cross-stitching, I don't know if QSnaps, well, they didn't exist because I was quite young when I started cross-stitching, but it's a great invention. Whoever invented the QSnap, they deserve the Nobel Prize from me. But they come in a variety of sizes. Typically, you can buy them at any local craft store. I know I buy a lot of mine at Michael's, but if you don't have a Michael's, you can buy QSnaps on Amazon, and it is going to be a QSnap brand. The brand that they sell at Michael's is not going to be called QSnap. I forget what they're called. Snap frames maybe. But they do come in a variety of sizes. So you have a 6x6, what's known as an 8x8, which looks like this. You also have an 11x11, which is probably the most common size. And for me, I don't want to take it off the floor stand here. The 11x11 is my favorite size of QSnap, just because I feel like for the size of projects that I do, it just makes sense to use a bigger QSnap. You can, and I also use a lot the 11x17, which is what this one is. So this is great if you're working on a really large piece like Seize the Day. It almost fits the entire pattern inside of the stitching space. So QSnaps are, it's a pretty easy concept. You're going to get a frame that comes with these removable little clasps. And you're going to stretch your fabric on front, and I usually lay my QSnap down onto a table to give myself some leverage. I'm going to lay the fabric out, and then I'm going to start on two opposing sides, and I'm going to push the snaps down around the fabric. These will then move. So these are adjustable and they will move back and forth, which is great because once you snap these on, you then want to roll it to make that fabric nice and tight. Like you can see this one, sorry, it's drum tight. So again, you get that same feel as you have with a hoop, but it's going to be a little bit thicker. It's nicer to hold, in my opinion, and it fits a little bit better in my floor stand, which I'll explain to you next. So QSnaps are great. You can find sizes to fit whatever project that you're working on, and over the years, I've acquired a couple of each size, although I don't typically like to leave my piece that I'm working on. If I'm working on it, I'll leave it in the QSnap, and I typically have a couple of projects going at one time. But for long-term storage, I do take them off of the snap frames and I put the projects away. I don't like the creases that can sometimes happen, whether you use an embroidery hoop or you use a QSnap. So just to protect my project so it doesn't get those big permanent creases. The nice thing about the QSnap versus the hoop is also, what do you do with all of this excess fabric? So even though I could buy a larger hoop for a project this big, this is Deck the Halls, I could buy a larger hoop. However, you're always going to have the issue with the excess fabric. Where with a QSnap, you do have the ability to roll your fabric before putting those snaps on to hold that excess fabric a little bit tighter and to get that excess fabric out of your way. Some people also will buy what's called a grime guard. You can find those on Etsy. It's made out of fabric. People make them at home. You could make them if you have a sewing machine. I don't know how to sew, so I'm not making one. I will have to buy one. But it's a piece of stretchy fabric that goes around your QSnap, and it holds all of your excess fabric so you don't have to roll it under your snaps like this. It also protects the fabric if you do have fabric on the outside of your snap. If you have a lot of excess, it prevents it from getting stained from your hands holding it. But one way to prevent all of that is by using a stand. So I don't typically like to stitch and hold a QSnap in my hand. I like to use either a floor stand or a tabletop stand, which I'm going to explain now. So the first thing, and let me pull this over here so that you can see it. This is a Lowry floor stand. I purchased this on Amazon, and the beautiful thing about a floor stand is that it keeps me from having to hold on to the piece itself, and I can stitch two-handed, meaning I have one hand working the needle from the front and one hand working the needle from the back, which helps to speed up my stitching. But this stand is made out of metal. It's extremely durable. It's also very heavy duty, so it's not going to be flipping over on you. And the bottom is going to come with a flat piece of metal that slides underneath a chair or under a sofa or a couch or chair, so that it gives a little bit more leverage to the stand so that it doesn't tip over. But a QSnap, or a Lowry stand, or a lot of stands, come with movable parts. So it comes with a movable arm that can slide in and out, or the arm that allows for the project to flip from front to back. So if you need to finish off your stitching from the back, you simply just spin it around. It also adjusts up and down, so depending on the height of your chair or wherever you're sitting, you can make it so it is more comfortable for you. I also purchased, and this was purchased from Amazon. You can find Lowry or directly from their website. I also purchased the additional pattern holder. So it's just this little piece of plastic and this piece of metal here that attaches to the stand. And then this was just a piece of plastic that I had that I will then clip my pattern to using a binder clip at the top. And then I have my pattern, and then I'm able to work on my project there. So I love my floor stand. It's a wonderful investment if you are really looking to enhance your cross-stitching experience. I highly recommend getting a floor stand. The other type of stand that I use quite a bit, if I'm sitting at a table, like here I'm at my dining room table, if I am sitting at a table, I will use this type of stand, which is a tabletop stand. This stand is from Kay's Creations on Amazon. You can buy them at a lot of different cross-stitch shops. But the same concept as your floor stand, it's going to come with moving pieces. It adjusts up and down, but you can tighten these to move, put your frame in there, put your QSnap in there, or your embroidery hoop. I've used up to an 11 by 17 on this stand, and it will not flip over because of this really nice base that it comes with. It also comes with this little tray here so that you can put your scissors, a pen, a highlighter. So this is a great option for when I'm just sitting at the table and I, again, don't want to hold on to my QSnap. So again, this was a lot less expensive than the floor stand, but different materials. You can find very expensive floor stands and lap stands, tabletop stands. Speaking of lap stands, they are stands where the adjustable piece, the bottom piece, actually goes under your bum when you're sitting in a chair, and it holds it in place so you become the apparatus that kind of holds it steady, and then it goes over your lap and then you're able to stitch. So that's another option too if you would just like to have something for when you're sitting in a chair. But regardless of what you buy, there's a lot of ways to spend a lot of money when you cross stitch, but it all comes down to what makes your cross stitching more enjoyable to you and what helps you get those projects done faster and closer to a finish. So again, these are just my preferred pieces of equipment that I use whenever I'm stitching, but you will find what works best for you. So thanks again for watching. I hope that you found this video to be informative and that you have some new things to add to your probably growing cross stitch wish list. Again, my name was Kristen. Please make sure to hit the thumbs up if you enjoyed the content that you saw today, and please make sure to subscribe to Sally's channel here at Caterpillar Cross Stitch for all that stitchy related goodness. In the description box below, if you sign up for her newsletter, you'll also receive an ebook with 5 free cross stitch patterns from Sally, which is awesome because who doesn't like free? So again, thanks for joining me today. I hope you all stay safe and we will all see you again soon. Bye.